2000 Gecs just kind of came out. Yeah, pretty impressive if you ask me. A collaborative debut from Dylan Brady and Laura Les, who I'm not even going to pretend I knew prior. Dylan does seem to have plenty of musical experience under his belt, working with many other artists before this, remixing a song for Charlie XCX, and had Brockhampton frontman Kevin Abstract feature on his solo debut release, and he was apparently featured on the latest Injury Reserve album, which was a record I wasn't huge into, but whatever. And Laura, she made the money store. So you have two relatively new, unheard of artists, admittedly with some clout in the industry, coming together to create one of the most unique and polarizing records that would propel them both into underground stardom, along with becoming giant fucking memes, which no one expected, but fine, I'll take it. Clear up some things about this album. People fucking hate or absolutely love this album. I've seen the words post-ironic, mimetic, late capitalist bullshit used to insult this album. Now, if you describe anything like that, you're likely a boomer with no connection to youth culture who forgot what fun was or confuses fun with fixing up your GMC Sierra while listening to Black Dog on repeat. I think what I love most about this album is that it's probably the most fun record this year so far. You can just feel how much fun Dylan and Laura were having making this. Those ironic, mimetic flourishes that so exude on tracks like Money Machine and Stupid Horse just make the album continually charming on every re-listen. I just can't get enough of it. The sense of humor that really isn't in a lot of music. Only other project I can think of would be Eric Andre's Blarf EP, and not the new one, I'm talking about the original one. Now it's for the nerdy technical bullshit. This record is a mishmash of genres and influences with one consistent factor. It all sounds like something from an early 2000s flip note Hatena or whatever, or a modern day animation meme. Now, that may sound like an insult, and typically it is for me, but it creates such an extremely nostalgic vibe. You have splashes of pop punk, ska, emo rap, digital hardcore, black metal. Really, if you ever heard of a genre, it's probably on here. Now, typically this would be an overload. And if you have a single-digit IQ, of course it is, but I'm in the high 1000s, so it's hardly an issue. Almost every track on here is some form of a banger, with something to set it apart from the rest. The opener, 745 Sticky, is likely the most straightforward rap track on here. Dylan and Laura show off a wonderful chemistry, bouncing off each other amazingly well, along with showing off their hard-hitting flows. And the big single off this album, Money Machine, has a hilarious opener about Laura talking about smoking arms and how you shouldn't talk shit if your truck isn't big enough. The song is an even harder hitting track with an even more off the wall beat, and at the end devolves into a digital hardcore-esque instrumental. 800 Decibel Cloud sounds like its title implies, with one of my favorite lines off the album with Laura and Dylan in unison triumphantly saying, "I might go and throw my phone into the lake, yeah!" I don't know what it is, the delivery is just great. The song also devolves at the end, turning into a black metal track, which was unsettling at first, but now I'm a metalhead because of this album, so it's cool. With such great few opening tracks, for some unfathomable reason, they decided to throw in some annoying interludes. On a first listen, they're novel, but they kill the album's pace on any further listens. Because, well, the album's only 23 minutes. And I presume without them, it would come under 20 minutes. And my guess is they added them because, well, what's a full debut album that's only 19 minutes long? Well, Daughters had an 11-minute debut, but, fuck Daughters, we don't talk about them here. Point is, they killed the album's pace and should have been gutted. That's one singular major flaw with the album. It's so tight and consistent, but then these interludes are like Usain Bolt running at top speed and then randomly tripping on a rock. Ignoring the interludes, let's get into the rest of why this album is great. The middle chunk of this album I could see turning people off, because that's when it's at its most flip note Hatena. Stupid Horse and Ringtone. Stupid Horse is this absurd ska song about killing a horse and his jockey because Dylan bet money on it and lost. And Ringtone is this just really cute track about, someone talking about setting their ringtone for their significant other. And I can only visualize it as from the perspective of some emo girl in 2006 on her Nokia setting the ringtone of a bunch of Jamster mascots and songs. And one of the songs is this. I Would Never Stop, written like some 12-year-old's gamer tag on Xbox Live, is probably the most club-friendly track on the record, with its highly pitched shift vocals and thumping aggressive bass and synths. Dylan coming in with his skittering and glitchy vocals, it sounds like a dystopian rave. The last two tracks on the album, Hand Crushed by Mallet and Get to Ooh and the album as strong as it began. Hand Crushed almost reminds me of a White Armor beat, with its cold and futuristic synths creating this Y2K-esque aesthetic that I just love, with Dylan and Laura going between singing and rapping and delivering some of the most catchy verses on the album. If I was to nitpick, though, the song ends a little abruptly. The closer, Get to Ooh, is a similar case, but it's a lot fuller of a song, with a lot more upbeat, with more instrumental flourish, and it's a very strong closer. Despite the album only being 23 minutes, it does feel like it goes on for 40, and I mean that in a good way. Beats are multi-layered and evolve over the course of songs. The previously mentioned charm of the album makes it infinitely replayable, along with a nostalgia factor. This is probably my top 10 album, if not top 5 of the year. Sure, if extreme auto-tune and harsh bombastic overproduced beats with like 10 layers of irony isn't your thing, then I can't suggest this to you. But if you're smart like me, check this out. Good night.